How close was Iran to building nuclear weapons before Israel began its strikes?
Something I try to make clear to people is the centrifuge program, which is what we're really worried about today, started around 1990, where it's a child of the Iran-Iraq War. And it moved forward until about 2003, when a lot of money had been invested, and I think the government decided the weapon was a mistake. But they invested a whole lot of money in the enrichment program, so it continued. All the information about weaponization seems to end at 2003. CIA believes that. I believe that from what I've read. Other people do. So were they close to weaponizing as of these strikes? The answer is no. It doesn't appear that. There's no evidence of that. And the kinds of things that the IAEA identified as non-cooperation on the part of Iran primarily have to do with reporting requirements. In some cases, minor discrepancies in reporting of materials down to the 10-kilogram level 30 years ago. This is trivial stuff, just designed to inflate.
So are there echoes then of 2003 and weapons of mass destruction claims on Iraq? Can that be compared to the current debate about Iran and its nuclear program?
I was the last nuclear chief inspector to leave Iraq, and we had much better data at that time. In 2003, we knew without a doubt there was no nuclear program in Iraq. That's 100%. We knew that. In this case, I certainly can't be that sure, and of course we're not there. So it's very hard to say that. But in the case of Iraq, there was an investigation into the weapons program. In the case of Iran, IAEA is limited to counting nuclear materials.
A lot of Iran's nuclear development could be about saving face and provoking the US. Tell us more about this view.
That's absolutely what I think they're doing. They were forced when the JCPOA ended. Trump pulled out when everybody said Iran was doing what they're supposed to do. So they stopped enriching to 3.5% and started enriching to 20%. That was just a provocation. They could justify it on the basis of some research materials. But then that didn't work, so they started enriching to 60%. And 60% has no civil purpose. It was designed entirely as a provocation. But now what Iran could do, and what the US could acknowledge, Iran could downblend the 60% back down to 20%. They've already done that in some cases. They know how to do it. That would get rid of this burr under the saddle, which is the 60%. Everybody could agree a major step had been taken. I think negotiations should be stepwise, not one big, beautiful deal. They can be done in little steps. Then the 20% could be downgraded to 3%, et cetera, et cetera. And then in a matter of maybe a year, you could get this done.
Do you think Israel needs the help of the US to completely take out Iran's nuclear sites? How deep do they go underground? How extensive are they? Can you tell us a bit more about that?
The ones at Natanz are not too deep in the earth, maybe 50 meters. They could be taken out with conventional bunker buster bombs. Remember that Israel used conventional buster bombs to break the reactor in Syria at Al-Kabar. And Israel also uses bunker busters in Gaza. So they have a lot of capability for that. I think they could do significant damage to the power supplies and the air supplies to the deep underground facility at Fordo. They wouldn't get to the actual cave at the bottom itself, but they could sure make it impossible to get back in again. 100 meters deep under the earth.
Are there better solutions rather than bombing Iran's nuclear sites?
Again, I think it is to begin a stepwise process where Iran comes to the table and says, I have 400 kilograms of 60% material. This bothers you tremendously. We made it to annoy you, and now we will get rid of it, and you give us something in return. And that's what they've been waiting for ever since the JCPOA. Take off the sanctions and we'll be more and more transparent.
Do you think that's something that the US and Donald Trump would be contemplating as one of their options?
That's very hard to say, but I'm tempted to say no.
Robert Kelley, we'll leave it there. Thanks so much for talking to us. Appreciate your expertise.
Nice to be with you, Bon.